All right, Coach Sanchez is ready. We'll start in front with Jeff and then Chris.
Ron, in that situation with that amount of time on the clock, is that about as good a look as you can hope to get one Andrew got?
Well, without a timeout, absolutely. I mean, to be at the rim, maybe there's another second left on the clock, maybe we get the offensive rebound. But before all that, we were down, and the guys buckled down and got the stops that we needed to get. They executed, our special situation actions well down the stretch and gave us a chance. Gave us a chance to win, and proud of the effort, down the stretch there. We needed to get a few more stops. So the first 30 minutes, we didn't guard them well enough, but definitely mustered enough down the stretch. And I know the crowd's energy was fantastic and really helped us there down the stretch.
Yeah, I was going to say you got the stops at the end, but if you look at the box score, their shooting numbers other than the free throws really jump off.
Mm-hmm.
What was the biggest issue for the first 3 quarters of the game or whatever?
We didn't touch their closeouts. We got to continue to build our habits of chasing screens and being there on the catch. They skipped a few. We didn't close out. We didn't touch them on the shot. We kind of stopped short. It's a really good shooting team. I mean, I give Mike a lot of credit. It's a team that shoots the ball well. They play well together. They made enough shots. They made the plays they needed to make. At times, you just needed to get a stop, and it was a one-on-one play, and maybe they got to the free throw line, or a shot was called or a foul was called. I watched the game, but I thought that we stayed in front, and at times when I felt like we guarded our yard and stayed in our lane and kind of stopped them, the whistle was blown and they ended up getting free throws out of that. So those were some of the reasons why they were able to score at times when we couldn't get our stops.
Okay. Greg and Zach.
How often do you guys practice that end of game situation, the missed free throws by them, and then a chance to run it up the floor quick? How often do you guys practice that, and is that kind of what you were looking for from Rhodey to be aggressive, even though maybe he looked a little hobbled at times?
Mm-hmm. Well, we practice, special situations, end of the games, almost every day. As I said before, without a timeout, I'm not sure what else we could have done with 6 seconds on the clock. You don't have time to do much. You just got to get the ball down the floor, hope you get a shot at the rim, and have a chance for an offensive rebound. And I think that they executed that fairly well.
Zach, Preston, and David.
Coach Tain had 10 points, 6 rebounds, another good game for him. You played him at the 4 a lot. Just what did you think of what he did at that spot?
Yeah, the four-man matchup was a bit of a problem for us today. At times it was more physical than us, and at times there was more quickness, and the four-man kept attacking closeouts and getting downhill and getting in front of the rim. I think Tain probably did the best job of maintaining his balance, keeping the ball out of the paint, and also contesting some shots. But then at times we gave up the offensive rebound because of his size. So sometimes, and my thing is, well, what's the potential solution to the problem? We try to look at it, and then the next question is, are we willing to live with the result? And we knew that he was going to be undersized, and the result's potentially going to be the offensive rebound. But he was able to keep the ball in front. That was the decision that we made.
Preston, then David, then Mike.
You got 3 home games that have kind of come down to the wire now, and been on the losing side of all 3 of those. How much does that kind of deflate when you're looking for just a spark to kind of bring some more joy to the locker room?
Well, if you approach this thing as it is, which is a gift, I have the opportunity to coach a team, the opportunity to play a game, John Paul Jones Arena, in front of that crowd, the opportunity to represent this university in this conference. Deflation shouldn't exist. Only gratitude, regardless of, if your highs and lows are going to come based on the scoreboard, then you're going to live a miserable life. So for us, it's continuing to appreciate what we have, living in the pillar of thankfulness. Yes, we want to win. My answer to your question would be, that is what an inexperienced young group goes through before you can have success. Everybody wants to get there, but nobody wants to go through the hard. These lessons that we're learning right now are going to benefit these guys later, and that's the goal, just to make these guys better as basketball players.
David, and then Mike.
Ron, what happened on the first half technical foul?
I think we had close to a shot clock violation. I don't know, I have a hard time with refs calling fouls within the first minute of the game. Now, they impact the rotations of your team, especially when it's not a play that impacts a score or a possession. You know, I do believe that refs gotta have a decent feel for that. You know, if he was gonna go score and we fouled him at the rim, I'll go back to the Louisville game. We gotta steal the first possession, Chucky Hepburn chases down Day-Day, they don't call the foul. I understood why, because the fans in that building went to see Chucky play. I get that, you know, so if that's a judgment call, then I'll live with it, you know, but to have calls made at the 19-minute mark in the game when it doesn't impact the play, I had a hard time with that one.
Yeah, Ron, along the similar lines, Blake, the quick fouls they called on him, how did that impact you, not having him available?
Well, it not only impacts not having him, it's that we're shorthanded to begin with, without Elijah. So Anthony Robinson had to, step into a role that, he's been prepared for, but, just doesn't have the experience. So, for us to be in that game down the stretch, being down that many bodies, being in foul trouble, it's just a testament of the character of the guys, how they're fighting and how they're growing and how they're improving and how they're getting better.
Michael, then Greg.
You mentioned not having Elijah. When do you think you're going to have him back? And then Rhodey obviously played very well, but how much was he able to practice this week and just preparing for this game?
Yeah, Rhodey did not practice much this week. We limited his reps so that he could be fresh for today. He was like 1 rep out of every 4 or 5, so really minimal, probably about 25% of practice. Elijah, I don't know. He's kind of day-to-day right now. If he had to play a game tomorrow, he couldn't. So I'm assuming that he's probably not going to be ready for Monday. I don't know exactly. I mean, every day that he gets treatment, Ethan and Mike are doing a fantastic job of trying to get him back. Hopefully we get him back, but in the meantime, it's next man up. He wasn't with us at Miami, and he wasn't with us tonight, and we were right there. So I think there's enough, in the group to continue to compete at a good level.
2 more, Greg and then Zach.
Yeah, what kind of jolt did you feel like Day-Day gave you coming out of the locker room after halftime, and why was he able to have success driving the basketball like he did in that sequence?
I think they were switching his ball screen, and he was able to take advantage of it to the baseline. He gave us a good injection of some transition baskets, and we want him to be able to score from the side, especially when teams are switching and he has a mismatch. He has the green light to do that. But for the most part, I think that he found the right shots. I don't think he took any shots that we were concerned with. I think he played within himself. He played within the system. I think he did a really good job today. I'll watch it, and we'll compliment him, and hopefully he keeps growing as well.
Last one, Zach.
In that final stretch in the second half, there was a possession where you guys went into a zone. I think it was just 1 possession. What was the motivation for that, and what did you think of that?
Well, it was just to see if we could steal a possession. That's what we were trying to do. I keep encouraging the guys that basketball is a game of possessions. If we can attack this thing just 1 possession at a time, just 1 at a time, and move on quickly. Have made a great play, move on. You made a bad play, move on quickly. Because we're gonna have about 150, 60 possessions, and you can't get hung up on 1. But yet, every single possession, it's its own game. And the goal is to win more possessions than the opponent. And that's the lesson for these young guys. I'm trying to instill in them, that every possession, it's its own battle. Being fatigued is not a reason to stop. That possession could win or lose you the game. And then in the end, you take the combination of all those possessions, and if you win most of them, then you will have a chance to win. That's what we're trying to do. And this team is about 10 possessions away from being a completely different space. Maybe 5 on offense, 5 on defense, 7 on offense, 3 on defense. You do the math, it's UVA. But I think that's how close they are. But it's also how far they are. So that's the lesson here for us.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys.